Let's see. Hello, everyone. We are live. This is wonderful. I'm excited to be here. And next to me, you see Cristina. Hi, Cristina.
Hello, how is everybody?
Hello.
Julia.
This is exciting. And you are now live to our first ever Mind of the Month Facebook Live. And yes, we're both excited. We're both excited. And so, as you may know already from my episodes, which I'm giving to you, I feature people who I adore, people who inspired me and have a story worth telling, have insights which I hope are also inspiring you as my audience. And it's just exciting to dive into topics of their heart and interest. And when we do that, it usually kickstarts something inside of the listener and the viewer. So that's what we're aiming for today. And you are in for a treat because we're talking about something which we called the top 3 tips to ignite the changemaker in you. Is that right, Cristina?
Yes.
Yeah. Woo, this will be exciting. So, the person to my right, well, it's always funny of where you are. Then the person next to me. We met last year at an event in Oslo, and from the first moment I knew this woman is full of stories and talent, which just I want to bring to you. And over the time, there has been a few conversations, and I completely adore you for what you do. So let me tell you roughly of what I started to learn about you. You are an incredibly energetic person, wonderful, sitting with your heart and talking from the heart. And this is how I experienced you, Cristina, as a wonderful person. You are living in Spain. You come here from Spain to us, and you are an individually great person. And then you also come as a couple, and you are a double whammy. You are double awesome because because you and your partner Seymour Johnson, you have a company called Hips on Fire. And doesn't that sound fun?
Yeah.
So you're dancing. You are a passionate dancing couple. And not only do you dance yourself and do performances and shows, you also teach. And your Hips on Fire is the teaching school for that. And just to get this right, you told me earlier, the teaching and coaching you do with that is called Dui Duamente.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yes. It's great.
And there is a vastness to it. Dancing in itself is already such an art and a craft, and you took it to another level. When you want to see them dance, look out on YouTube. They are just amazing. So if you want to add anything to what I just said, please do. And just because we're at the beginning of this conversation, I want to make sure that everyone who's watching, and I can see Seymour is watching. This is amazing. Seymour is here. And Anna. So make sure you're posting your comments. And if you have any questions, just put them in the comments and we'll make sure that we can see them and get them answered by Cristina as well. So Cristina, tell me, what do you want to add to what you offer about the dancing and you together? What else is there?
Oh, you made a beautiful introduction. The dancing is one thing that we've done for more than 20 years. And I actually started teaching Sevillanas, which is a folkloric dance from my hometown, from Malaga, where I'm from. But then I switched to Latino dances, and now we do Kizomba. But now we're putting a lot of focus since the last 4 years in our coaching and training and speaker business, because we really want to produce change that lasts. And so we got certified, and we've been studying and applying. And after being 20 years teaching people and seeing the transformation also that can happen with dance, you have a lot of experience that you want to share. And really, I feel like really fortunate in everything that we've done. So we want to give back and help the community as much as possible. And so Tui Tu Mente is the company. that we created for that purpose. So we have Hips on Fire, but now we're really focused on Tu y Tu Mente a lot more. So that's where we are now.
Oh, wow. And so when you just said 20 years of experience in that, you must have seen so many people turning things around when you say transformation through dancing. So did you ever thought in the beginning that you have that kind of impact on people through dancing, through teaching dancing?
No, I mean, even like dancing was not on my radar. Like when people make plans and goals in their life, that was not in my plan. So I actually started teaching dancing by accident. I was an engineer, a software engineer, and I moved to the US. And actually, after I think a couple of weeks, I went to an event. I just had landed there, and I met this woman, Carmen, and she was like, "Oh, so what do you do?" And I'm an engineer. "Oh, you dance?" And because she was a dancer, and she's like, "Yeah." What do you do? And I'm like, "I dance, sevillanas." And I told her a little bit, "Oh, you do sevillanas?" And somehow she convinced me to teach sevillanas. I still don't know, like, I remember I was renting a space and teaching, and then her telling me to teach. There's a gap there. I don't know what happened, because I was an engineer. I have never thought of teaching dancing. And that's how I got into all of this. I started with one class, and then two, and then adults, and then kids, and then performances, and then Latino dances. And then I ended up saying, okay, let's forget about engineering. Let's do dancing. So that was not in my plans.
Wow. And so then coming together with Seymour, who is also a choreographer and like kind of an inventor of dance styles, isn't he? And you together, I guess. So I don't want to single anyone out here, because you are both together just brilliant. Yes. So both of you are choreographers, designers, creators of new dance styles, which is also very exciting. So then together teaching, I just imagine what it's like to come to one of your schools and wanting to dance, and then it changes. What does change then? What does change in a person when they start dancing with you? What do you think?
Yeah, well, there's many, many different situations, but I think one thing that is common is, first of all, the dances we teach are very social. So a lot of people come for the social part, just to meet friends, even to find partners. So they become a lot more social, or they find friendships that are for life. Even we used to, in Boston, where we were teaching in the US, we were there for 12 years teaching. And at the end, there's people that got married and had kids. So we ended up calling the Hips on Fire kids, So even people got, created families. So it's a big transformation. And then we saw also people that were really, really, really shy, how they gain confidence in themselves, in showing up. And I know I have students who take the challenge of choreographies, for example, because, they will never put themselves in front of a public. And for them, that's a big challenge. And just the accomplishment, it makes them feel so much better, and they grow with that. So it's really beautiful to watch.
Oh, I just get pictures in my mind where people have not been moving their body for a while. And the simple act of moving your body, and obviously you call it Hips on Fire, so there is lots more coming and lots more going on. But the simple idea of moving your body and being more expressive with yourself is healing.
Yes, the body has a lot of memory. So it is a part that sometimes we forget, when you want to heal something or change something, we think more of the brain, the mind, and we forget that the body is a mind, and sometimes its own mind, which doesn't listen to the mind, to the real mind. So moving, it helps shake things, and it helps heal stuff. So I think it's really needed. And there's a lot of studies that also say that it helps avoid Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that. So I recommend everyone to take some dance classes and enjoy them, or move, just move.
Yeah. Oh, fascinating, Cristina. I'm so glad we had that conversation as well about the dancing, as many people now being in lockdown and, looking out for stuff which they want to do, maybe start a new hobby, and maybe people are starting to dance as well, which would be lovely to see, as it's social as well.
Yes.
And bring them back to themselves. So today we also want to talk about something very exciting, which is you actually have this behind you, haven't you? There is a book. I can see a book. It's called Ignite.
Ignite the change maker in you.
Oh, fascinating. So what is it about the book? How come you are part of a book? How come you're in there? There is no real movement and dancing, it's words.
Yeah, it's actually I don't know I got how I got involved, but it was a beautiful project, and it sounded like I really wanted to be part, because talking about change, creating change in people, or helping people create change and transformation in their lives is really what we're focusing a lot in our coaching. So when I saw the title, I'm like, oh, I gotta share something in that book, and the title was Change Makers. So it's a project between 50 women that tell stories, personal stories. And it's not just telling your story, but really the lessons that we learn that we can share. If it can inspire other people, that would be amazing. There's 50 very different stories, so there's things for everybody. And then not only that, but at the end, we share action steps, because there's no progress without action. So every story has at the end like actions that you can take if you want to move forward in whatever they're telling. So it's really a very practical and inspirational book at the same time. So I think it's a really beautiful, and it came out really beautiful. Now, I don't have a copy in my hand because with the COVID, all the transportations are going wild. So I still only have pictures of it, and then I have the Kindle version. But I don't have a physical book that I would love to be shaking here in front of you.
You do the proper unboxing then soon.
Yes. Yeah.
So really what we like to do is we don't want to read from the book now. We don't want to share every single story from the book, because it's there for people to buy and to read, and to do that in their own time when they want to get inspired by just sitting down and relaxing, being inspired with the book. But what you're here to share is just like the top 3 tips of becoming that change maker, because so many people want to see change in their life, but don't really approach it well, or feel stuck with it, or they don't know what to do and how to be that. So a change maker to me is someone who is either making big changes in their own life, or if they feel confident and have a broader reach, be a change maker also for others. You can be a change maker for yourself and change something about your life, and maybe moving from one place to another, which you obviously have done many times, and it has changed your life every time, I'm sure. And so I wonder how you could put that into words, these your tips so that the listener can take something away, which they maybe want to just do something different, but it's so difficult. So what do you suggest doing, and how is that even possible to be a change maker?
Yeah, I think I will expand the definition of change maker, because change is always there, whether you like it or not, whether you are aware or not, it's always there. So you may say, I don't want to change. And that's just, if you look at the mirror, every day there's something different in you. So it happens. Now, how you approach the change, that's what makes it different. And that for me is when you approach it with a growth mindset, then you're a change maker, and that's something that everybody can train. Some people think, oh, I'm stuck here. No, it's trainable. And I think when big changes are not happening, that's when we need to train with little things every day in our life, so that when a big change comes and hit us, we have that mindset that is growing, that wants to create things, that want to expand, that wants to learn. And with that mind, it's easier to go through a change. There's no question that some changes are really, really hard, and some people now are really suffering. So maybe that's not the time to practice, that's the time to go through the best way you can. But if you're careful where you put your identity, that's really, for me, one of the key things, because if you put your identity in things around you that you owned, you may lose them, and then what happens to your identity? Or if you put them in professions, like I am a teacher and you lose your profession, I am a lawyer and I don't have my business anymore, what happens to you? Who are you? You need to define your identity by your characteristics that do not, depend on anything, anybody, or any place or any profession around you. You can say, I am a heartful person, I am a disciplined person. That doesn't depend on anyone. So you can always be that no matter what happens around your life. So first is watching where your identity is being attached to, or what's happening with your identity. And sometimes we don't realize and we kind of slip into, oh, I am this. So just watch yourself when you say I am. What are you? You know, so that if you say I am a lawyer, you can say it, but just make sure that your identity is not tied to being a lawyer. And I would say that will be one of the first things to watch out for.
Wow, that is a big lesson. That is a big top tip, because so many times and I hear many people, like just talking about, I'm a mother, I am this, I'm a wife, and as you say, I'm a lawyer. So you are saying if we detach ourselves from the label, we can actually attach us to our characteristics and to the way we want to show up in the world.
Exactly. And you can be a very caring mother. So you are the caring person, So it's not that you don't, acknowledge all these amazing things that you have around that define also who you are, but don't put the identity on that, but on the characteristics that made you a wonderful mother, a wonderful wife, a husband, father, attach it to that, not to the fact, to the characteristics, not to the name or the title or the people around you.
Mm-hmm. And did you just come up with that, or how did you notice that?
I've changed careers from one of the big changes was from being an engineer to being a dancer. And for me, it was very amusing to see how people would react when I said I am a engineer, then I am this blonde, bright, intelligent person. And then if I say I'm a dance teacher, then I am this blonde that didn't know what to do and just choose dancing. So it was amusing because I was the same person. So I didn't attach my personality to that. Otherwise, it will be the people defining how much, what's my value, how much do I value, and it's not my career who defines the amazing or whoever I think I am. So it's, for me, that was a very amusing part, because I started my, let's say, career path choosing things that were very accepted by society, and then I switched to things that were not so popular or accepted or valued in society. So I had a chance to feel in my own skin, and I choose that. So it was on my own choice, so maybe that was easier. How the titles and how the situation and your economic situation really makes you be outside one person or the other, while on the inside you are the same person. So you need to have that very, very clear.
Yes. All right. So we get that. I fully agree and I fully understand. And we need to feel that for ourselves. We need to be attached to a characteristical identity rather than a label and a position. Gotcha. Okay. So just a reminder, whoever is watching, please feel free to say who's here. I can see 6 people are watching. That's fabulous. Maybe you just want to write your name in and where you're from. And that would be awesome. Then we can acknowledge your time with us. And so if you then think about igniting a change maker, what else comes to your mind? So now we learned that we got to be careful and watch out to what we attach our identity with. So what else would you tell is important? What else would you say?
I will summarize like three decisions that we make every single day that sometimes we're not aware of. And if we put more consciousness into that, it will really help to shape where you're going or what's going on. And one is where you put your focus. So if you ask, where is my focus? You will realize if you're focusing on what's missing in your life, what you don't like in your life, what's not working, or if you're trying to focus on the solution, on something new, on what can I create, how can I change this, what can I do different, your energy is gonna be very different, and how you're gonna go through a big change or a big problem is very, very different. I'm not saying that when you have a big problem, it's difficult. It will be difficult for everybody, but how you're going to transition that change will be very different if you have that mindset of looking and putting the focus not on what's missing, but what you want to do, what you really want to do, how do you want your life to be. So that would be the first question, and there's 3. The second is, what meaning do you give to it? Because the meaning it's really what defines your life. And I have had many experiences in mine, and I think that's where I got that from, where I had to find the meaning to move forward. Otherwise, I was stuck because the meaning I was giving was really shitty. And once I found a meaning that moved me forward, then I was flying. And I can explain, for example, part of the story I tell in the book is about how I lost my hearing. And I went through a really downside of my life because my life changed completely from hearing well to not hearing, losing conversations, not knowing where things are coming from, not knowing when people are talking to me, and losing words, and really understanding how old people feel because you start to catch half of the phrases. So I had to learn that, and I gave it a meaning, and for me, that was useful for me. I just decided, okay, this has happened to me because I need to help other deaf people to overcome their obstacles. And I had to give it that meaning so that I could move forward. Otherwise, you get stuck into the why me, why me, why me, which is not useful at all.
Or at least find a meaning which is serving you rather than discounting you. And
Exactly.
so just to clarify, you can hear me well because you are now able to hear. You are able to hear on one side fully?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't know that, but I only hear on one side. So if I don't like you, you're going to be on my deaf side. No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, well, I'm pleased that you have this one side hearing, because it will be important for everything you do, not only the dancing, but everything in life. With our senses, we go and have experiences. So yes, very important to see what meaning we attach to that. So it's about what we focus on and what meaning we attach to things. And isn't it interesting that it's not only the meaning we attach to things, it's also the meaning which is out there in the world.
Yes.
They put onto stuff. That's what I notice as well. You can be all right sometimes with something, and then all of a sudden you get face on with someone saying, "What? Really? Oh my goodness, this is incredible and bizarre and not good." So they put something negative on, and you go, "Huh, I haven't even thought about that." And then all of a sudden it comes stained, and you feel less because someone else has put their meaning onto you. And so I'm always fascinated by the power of words. And so when that happens, it's when someone else puts the meaning for something which you were fine with on top of you, as a bit of a, like, kind of, these, when you get served a really lovely dinner and they have these globes, that's how you feel. Then it's like, you get these globes on top of you going, all right, oh, okay, better think of that too. But actually you were fine. So it's what meaning you have for yourself, and be aware of what's going on around you as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as a coach, for example, one of the works that we have to do is help people see different point of view on their own meaning too, because sometimes the meaning they give to something is not being useful for them, So a coach, one of the things that we do is just put like different mirrors so they can give a different perspective on their own talk, inner talk, and their thinking. So, and that's how important it is, how we talk to ourselves and the meaning that we give to things.
Yes, so important. Such a big topic, and so important that you mentioned that. So we have Anna still watching, and we have Sally. Hi, Sally. So glad you're here. Sally is from Poole. She's a friend of mine as well, and I'm so pleased she's here. And so, Cristina, this is such valuable stuff. So to say, the first one was that we want to be watching what identity we put on and take on for ourselves. And the second is to be mindful of where we put our focus, because we all have heard these sayings, where we put our focus, that grows. So you're saying be mindful of the meaning you put onto things as well. Right?
And then action. You need to take action. If there's no action, the change won't happen. You won't move forward. So you need to take action. And sometimes when you're really stuck, I will say move in any direction. It doesn't really matter.
I like that.
Just move, because something will happen and that will shake you, or that will make you see something different. And then you'll experiment. And I think we need to experiment also as much as possible, because we have, our brains are trained to be safe. This is how we survive. We are the descendants of a lot of people that were really safe for a long time, or they wouldn't have survived. So it is a trait that we have. The brain wants easy, simple, and known. So if you want to change something, you have to push yourself. It's not the natural. You don't think your mind is going to help you. You have to help your mind. And the way to help it is just take some action. And if you know in which direction, just if it's too big of a step, find the smallest step that you can take in that direction. And if you have no clue, no idea, then meet people. And like you're saying, Julia, if you talk to people that are very different to you, suddenly you get point of view that you have never even considered. And that can open your mind to try something different, or to at least, check and see, well, why do I think this that I'm thinking? Maybe it's my society, maybe I never thought this way and I adopted it and I didn't realize. So I would say that's also very important.
I totally agree. So in action, we find a way out of despair, isn't it? So we find when we are in action, so that kind of we're just slouching and couching and not moving out of a misery or out of a situation, which in effect might also just be okay. Sometimes, and we talked about that before, sometimes it's really, we think it is difficult to change in a place where we feel actually all right in, because it is so comforting. And then to change out of that comfort zone, out of that area of maybe it's your job, which is fine, it's good. And why would you change? But maybe because there is something inside of you which you are yearning to change. And so then it needs to be a very active step to actually take that action forward and to move yourself out of it.
Yeah, that's one of the things I talk in my story, because I had amazing jobs, amazing bosses, amazing financial status. So sometimes when things are really good, I think it's harder to change because you're really, really enjoying it. Why should you change? But sometimes inside, this is not the right place for you. And that's when you really have to make a conscious change. But the person you become afterwards is really worth it.
And you just say it as if you lived through something like that. So, not everyone can say that sentence so easily, because there was so much experience behind that. So I'm applauding you for that sentence, filled from within. That's great. And actually, Anna mentioned it's easy for a dancer teacher to say move. I agree. It's easy to say. And I thought about that when you say just move in any direction. How amazing that you have that analogy with the dancing. So even maybe to prime your brain for being in action and moving into any direction, well, dance daily, move daily. And I'm believing in priming your brain, retraining your brain, that you will find ways to take action easier. If you're always stuck, always rigid, then you will find it more difficult in situation when it counts. That's why yoga, for instance, is so great as well. I believe people who do yoga, or maybe dancing as well, whatever form you use, the more flexible you are and continue to be with your body, the more you will be flexible and movable and malleable with your brain. So practice that. So prime your brain with moving and dancing, and then maybe it doesn't need to be the perfect choreographic dance. It is about moving. So taking action is about moving forward or any direction to get out of stuckness. I totally agree. Totally agree.
And it can be anything, calisthenics, now everybody's doing calisthenics, whatever, running, just move. And you feel different actually also. Yeah.
And Simo just said, it's not about what has been given to you. It's about what you have created. Yes. So true, isn't it? We are here to create, and we have creative minds. We can bring our mind into action and then do stuff. So it's in action we create. And I just love that topic. So I get really excited about that when it comes to action. And in that we create change. So to sum this up, we have 3 top tips to ignite the change maker in you. Yes. And you want to watch where you attach your identity to?
Yes. And then the second is where are you putting your focus. So every day ask, when you feel stuck or something happened and you don't feel like you can move forward, where is your focus? Where are you putting the focus? And then what meaning are you giving it? And then after that, action, action, action. Whatever little step you can do, but move, because you will feel the change.
Amazing. So thank you so much, Cristina. Before we sum up and wrap up, let me just say again that the book which you are part of, like besides 49 other amazing change maker female star souls, you are part of the book Ignite, the change maker. Is that what it's called exactly? Ignite change maker?
Change makers, Ignite change makers. It's a series of books, so the series is Ignite, and this is called Change Makers.
Amazing. So that will be available from
tomorrow, actually. And if you want, there's the official launch day is on Saturday, May 30th. But starting tomorrow, Friday, you can get a free Kindle version from Friday, Saturday, and Saturday. It's gonna be free. So if you want, get a free Kindle version. And all we ask is if you have an Amazon account, please leave us a review, because it will really help the book and getting the exposure so that more people can benefit from these amazing stories that 50 women are telling. So it's going to be free. So yeah.
And I'd say it's not free because it comes from your heart and it's such a loved, shared message. And so with the free, please feel the urge to write a review. It will help tremendously to boost that book and to bring it to even more people, because we know it will jump up in the ranks. And that's what we want. This is another huge step to actually bring into action of what you talk about. So that would be a good, nice tied bow, what do you call that?
A tie the bow or a bow tie. I don't know.
Yeah, that one. The icing on the cake, if that book sells really well.
I like that, icing on the cake.
Okay, great. So I've got 2 more questions for you, and then we can leave this Facebook Live forever on here. The first question would be, what does happiness mean to you?
For me, I would say more than happiness is fulfillment. Happiness is a result of you having the life that you want. So fulfillment is when you really enjoy everything that you have, and it's different for everybody. So for me, it's that there is health, that I have the mobility to travel. I love traveling, that all my family, my relatives, my friends are fine, and that we are happy in our relationship, and then that I can serve. That's my main purpose, that I can serve to as many people around me as I can in the most deep way. And that for me is my fulfillment. But I would say that happiness is the result of living the life that you want, that you design it.
We'll take that. Nothing to add there. And the next question is, what excites you at the moment?
Well, right now, the launch of the book. Yeah, because it's a new experience for me, and it's really amazing to see the impact that already it's having and how people are responding to it. And for me, it's not the writing of the book, it's the fact that it's a useful book and that people are finding not only inspiration, but steps that can apply in their own life. So that's exciting. So and that's we're gonna have on Saturday also a full day of Facebook Live where every single author is gonna come in the Facebook Live of Ignite Your Life, and they're gonna be talking about their own stories. And so each of us have like 15 minutes because we're so many, just to give a launch. We should be celebrating this launch in Paris, but because we have the COVID, then we're gonna do it live in Facebook.
Oh. Awesome. Okay, so I'm really hopeful that this series of Mind of the Month has brought to you some inspiration and which you can take into action. And so let's take all this and buy your book and get the book on Kindle, whatever we want to do. And I'm so grateful that we had this conversation today, Cristina. And please say hello to Seymour and let's transform lives.
Thank you, Julia. It's been a pleasure. I'm so happy that we connected, and it's just been, I really admire you too. You know, when we met in Oslo, I was seeing you every day running. She is so disciplined, man. If you want to see a woman like really disciplined and in shape, that's her. So I was really admirable.
I received that. All right, big hearts and lots of love.
Thank
Bye.
you.